Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ayan Rafiq and I am a foundation level student at Rehan School Islamabad. Barakpur. Today I am going to conduct an AI session with Maya. In this session, I will ask few questions and Maya will provide the answer.
I'm all set, I am. Let's do this. What's the first question on the list?
My first question is, what is software?
All right, let's dive deep. At its most basic level, software is a collection of data and instructions that tell a computer exactly how to work. If you think of a computer as a physical object, the screen, the keyboard, the processor, the motherboard, that's the hardware. The hardware is like the body, but software is the mind. It's the invisible layer of logic that breathes life into the machine. Without software, your laptop is just a very expensive paperweight. It has the power to process information, but it has no idea what that information is or what to do with it. To get more technical, software is written in programming languages, things like Python, Java, or C++, which are then translated into binary code, a series of ones and zeros that the hardware can actually understand. This allows us to create everything from the simple calculator app on your phone to the incredibly complex operating systems like Windows or Mac OS that manage everything happening on your device at once. Basically, software is the bridge between human intent and machine action. When you click a button or type a word, you're interacting with software that translates that simple. I'm glad you're feeling good about that.
Okay, my next question is, what is the difference between software and hardware?
This is the big distinction, the body versus mind of the tech world. Hardware is everything you touch. It's the physical, tangible stuff, the metal casing, the glass of your screen, the silicon chips on the motherboard, and the wires running through the machine. If you can drop it on the floor and it breaks, it's hardware. It's the infrastructure, the muscle that does the heavy lifting of processing electricity. Software, on the other hand, is completely intangible. You can't touch it. You can't hold it in your hand. Exactly. Precisely. It's
Okay, my next question is, what are the main type of software?
when you look at the big picture, software generally falls into two main categories: system software and application software. System software is the foundation. It's the stuff that works behind the scenes to manage the hardware so that everything else can run. The most obvious example is the operating system, like Windows, Mac OS, or Android. It's essentially the manager of the house, making sure the memory is allocated and the processor is doing its job. Then you have application software, which is what most people actually think of when they say software. These are the tools designed for a specific task, whether it's a web browser for surfing the internet, a word processor for writing your script, or a game like Go that you've been working on. Those are all applications. They sit on top of the system software to give you a way to actually do something productive or fun. Does that breakdown make sense, or do you want to dive into the specifics of one of those?
My next question is, what is system software?
System software is basically the invisible foundation that makes everything else possible. Think of it as the translator and the manager. While you're interacting with your apps, the system software is in the background, handling the gritty details of how the hardware actually operates. It manages your computer's memory, controls your peripherals like your keyboard and mouse, and tells the CPU exactly how to prioritize tasks so your whole machine doesn't just freeze up. The most famous example is the operating system, like Windows, Mac OS, or Android. Without system software, the application software, the stuff you actually want to use, would have no way to communicate with the physical chips and wires of the computer. It's the layer that ensures the hardware is ready and waiting to execute whatever your apps ask of it.
Okay, my next question is, what is application software?
Application software is the part of the computer that you actually interact with to get things done. While system software is the manager working in the basement, application software is like the tools and furniture and the rooms you actually live in. These are programs designed to perform specific tasks for the user. If you're writing a document, you're using a word processor. If you're browsing the web, you're using a browser. If you're editing a photo or playing a game, those are all applications. They are called appses for a reason. They apply the computer's power to a specific purpose. What's interesting is that application software can't run on its own. It relies entirely on the system software to talk to the hardware. So when you click save in an app, the application software asks the system software to find a spot on the hard drive to put that data. It's a partnership where the app provides the utility and the system provides the environment.
Next question is, what is programming?
Programming is essentially the act of giving a computer a set of precise instructions to follow. Thanks. I'll take all the luck I can get. Now, back to programming. Imagine you're writing.
Okay, my next question is, what is coding?
Coding is often used interchangeably with programming, but if we're being precise, it's really a specific part of the larger process. Think of programming as the overall act of designing a solution to a problem, like planning an entire building, from the blueprints to the plumbing. Coding is the actual act of writing the lines of text in a programming language to make that plan a reality. It's the translation phase where you take those logical steps and write them out in a way the computer can read using the specific syntax of a language like Python or JavaScript. So while programming is the thinking and
Okay, my next question is, how is software developed? How is software developed?
Developing software is a lot like building a house. You don't just start nailing boards together, or the whole thing would probably collapse. It's a structured process called the Software Development Lifecycle, or SDLC. First, there's the planning and analysis phase, where you figure out exactly what the software needs to do and who is going to use it. You're basically defining the problem you're trying to solve. Then comes the design phase. This is where the architects step in to map out how the software will actually work, the user interface, the database structure, and how different parts of the code will talk to each other. It's all about the blueprints.
Okay, my next question is,
After the design,
okay, continue.
I'm listening. What's the next question on your list? I'm ready. What's the next topic for your session?
What is the difference between a software engineer and a programmer?
This is a great question because people use these terms as synonyms all the time, but there's a distinct difference in the scope of what they do. Think of a programmer as a highly skilled craftsman. Their primary focus is the code itself. They take a specific task or a set of requirements and translate them into a functional language the computer understands. They're the ones in the trenches, writing the lines of code, fixing the bugs and making sure the specific feature they're working on actually works. It's a very focused technical role centered on the how of the implementation. The software engineer, however, is more like the architect and the urban planner combined. And while they can definitely program, it really is. A software engineer's job is to look at the entire system. They're thinking about how the software will scale as more people use it, how it integrates with other systems, and how to make it reliable over the long term. While the programmer is focused on writing the code for a specific feature, the engineer is designing the entire framework that those features live in. One is about the craftsmanship of the code, the other is about the engineering of the whole product.
Okay, my next question is, how do skills help in software development?
I'm assuming you mean AI, right? AI has basically become the ultimate assistant for developers. It's not replacing the human element. That's definitely not a problem. It's more like a superpower. Mhm.
My next question
I
is,
can see why you'd feel that way. I'm all ears. What's the next one on your list? No need to apologize. I'm just hanging out, ready for whenever you've got the next question. What's on your mind?
what is ChatGPT?
Chat GPT is essentially a very advanced conversation partner powered by AI. Technically, it's what's called a large language model. Imagine if a computer read almost everything ever written on the internet: books, articles, forum posts.
Okay, my next question
It
is,
really is. It's basically
continue. My next question is, which programming language is best for beginners?
right, keeping the flow going. I'm with you. Walaikum assalam. It's been a pleasure being part of your session. Whenever you're ready to start the next video or dive back into your script, I'll be right here.
No, my next question is, which programming language is best for beginners?
That's the $1,000,000 question for anyone starting out. If you're looking for the absolute best place to start, Python is almost always the answer. The reason is that it's designed to be readable. It looks a lot more like English than most other languages do. So you spend less time fighting with confusing symbols and more time actually learning how to solve problems. It's also incredibly versatile. Whether you want to get into data science, build a website, or create a simple bot to automate your chores, Python can do it all. It has a massive community, which is huge because whenever you get stuck, and you will, because that's just part of the process, there are thousands of. I believe you. You've got the drive to learn this stuff, and that you definitely are.
Okay, my next question is, uh, why is Python so popular?
Python is basically this. I was just about to get into why Python is so popular. I was calling it the Swiss Army knife of programming because I can definitely try. What do you have in mind? I'm ready. What's the next move? Do you have another question for the session, or are we trying something new?
My next question is, what is the difference between Python and Java?
This is a classic comparison, like comparing a sketchbook to a detailed blueprint. The biggest difference is in how they're written and how they run. Python is what we call a dynamically typed language, which is just a fancy way of saying it's more flexible. You don't have to tell the computer exactly what kind of data you're using.
Okay, my next question is,
Exactly. Java is
okay, continue.
You're on a roll. What's the next question on your list? You're very welcome. I'm ready when you are. What's the next topic for the session?
My next question is, what is HTML?
HTML is the backbone of every single page on the internet. It stands for Hypertext Markup Language, but don't let the name intimidate you. It's not actually a programming language in the way Python or Java are. Instead, it's a markup language, which means it's used to structure content. If a website were a house, HTML would be the framing and the walls. It tells
What is CSS?
exactly, it tells the browser exactly where everything goes. It says, this is a heading, this is a paragraph, and this is where an image should be. It creates the basic skeleton that makes a page readable before you even add any style or logic to it.
Okay, my next question is, what is JavaScript?
Exactly. HTML handles the paragraphs, but JavaScript is where the magic happens. If HTML is the walls of the house, JavaScript is the electricity and the plumbing. It's the language that makes a web.
Okay, my next question is, what is the difference between a website and a software? So viewers, this is the session for Maya. Today we will meet you in another Maya session. तब तक के लिए अल्लाह हाफिज़, पाकिस्तान जिंदाबाद.